Yesterday evening class kind of got exhausting. This is much shorter. And then tomorrow we'll discuss what Krishna says, and then the history of the Kaliya serpent. So we'll start with verse number 54. Thus praised by the Nagapatnis, Krishna then released Kaliya, who fell unconscious. Sensory functions. Breathing loudly and painfully, he humbly addressed Krishna. Krishna then gave up, this is Vishwanath's commentary, Krishna then gave up afflicting Kaliya, who was weak because of the blows of Krishna's feet on his head. Then Krishna suddenly jumped He who suffers from others' suffering, Bhagavan, Krishna, left Kaliya, who had fainted with his head broken by the blows of his feet, Krishna's feet. Though there were reasons to release him, the description of the snake in this verse show that he had given up his evil nature completely. Again, Sanatana Goswami is very kind to Kaliya. For some good reason, I'm sure. He goes on, Sanatana Goswami, by being released, the dispelling force of the trance of ecstasy, by being released by the dispelling force of the trance of ecstasy, he's gone to Bhava Bhakti. He had regained the functions of his senses. Hari means he who has taken away the contamination of false pride and so on, because Krishna is directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the most attractive on account of his special mercy, and who bestows supreme bliss. Being absorbed in blissful dancing, the Lord broke Kaliya's heads. This is, again, Sanatana Goswami's commentary, and he explains what breaking Kaliya's bad nature through their heads. He had his bad nature removed. Thus he fainted because of bliss. Again, Sanatana Goswami has some special insight into this personality. He's very kind, Sanatana Goswami. If you're in trouble, you know a good place to go for shelter. Sanatana Goswami. Kaliya, with difficulty, somehow or other offered obeisances, folding his hands. I haven't seen any hands in these paintings. The wives have hands. Anyway, folded his hands. Since all the limbs of his body, spelled wrong, were suffering pain, and thus he was not capable of offering obeisances by throwing his body down upon the ground. Of course, he's in the water, so he's got hands and he couldn't pay obeisances. The serpent Kaliya said, "Our very birth as a snake has made us envious, ignorant, and constantly angry." Oh my Lord, this is a verse spoken by Kaliya. It is so difficult for people to give up their conditioned nature by which they identify with that which is unreal, Maya. Kaliya was unable to compose original prayers to the Lord, thus paraphrased some of the prayers offered by his wives. Thinking the Lord would be pleased, he spoke words similar to theirs. And Vishwanath writes, since there is the acceptance, there is the accepting of the asat, or attachment, hatred, so on, by even the intelligent people. This is Vishwanath paraphrasing Kaliya's words. Even intelligent people are attached to asat, despite understanding it to be unfavorable. So what to speak then of foolish persons such as ourselves? What fault do I have? Like, ignorance is, he's pleading ignorance. And his wives have already also said, he didn't understand who you were. You removed his coverings, and he now understands who you are. So he's now very repentant, and he's fit to be forgiven. Now the next verse, this is still Kaliya. O Supreme Creator, it is you who generate this universe with an arrangement of the material modes that was the same, very similar to the last verse of the wives' prayers. You manifest various species with varied sensory and physical strength, like me, and I'm a serpent. And here's the next verse. Among the species within your material creation, we serpents are by nature always enraged. How can we possibly give up this conditioning on our own? Help. So he has helped. He's taken away his coverings so that he's now able to understand what he wasn't able to understand before. Oh, independent Lord Bhagavan, since actions are dependent on you, by your will alone, I have to edit, we can do anything. Thus, what can low persons like us say about this? How can we give up the illusion of being angry? We cannot do it on our own. If you make us give it up, then it can be given up. Krishna, for giving up Maya, you should worship me. Holly, I'm ready. But we are bewildered by your Maya, and due to this, we don't worship you. And here's the last of Kaliya's words or prayers. You are the actual cause of freedom from illusion. Please arrange for us whatever you consider proper, whether it be mercy or punishment. That's the conclusion. Since I cannot give up this nature on my own, you should do something. Do as you wish. You know the power of your Maya and my miserable position. You should give mercy because you are the supreme independent, and thus you can also punish me. So it's very similar to what the wives were saying. You have these two natures, and it's fitting for someone who's in this superior position to be forgiving, especially when there's repentance on the side of the person who has erred. And our husband is in that, we can see he's in that condition. He's now become a Vaishnava. He's very happy to be in your service as opposed to harassing your devotees. So please forgive him. Now, that's there explicitly, please forgive him, please forgive him, please forgive him. And then the husband, the Kaliya, is saying, you can do with me what you feel is appropriate. You're supremely independent. You have the power to do whatever you wish. I certainly want your mercy, but if you feel that mercy is more punishment, then so be it. Now, I hope you're not disappointed, but that's the end. Because two reasons. Because Because yesterday went for so long and it was too much. And so this evening is deliberately less than too much, maybe too little. But a second reason is the questions and answers have been fantastic, super fantastic. And I like the discussion part very much. But here's a third reason, that there's some explanations that we'd like to present tomorrow, in the final session, part 6. The from Bhakti Sandarbha, not tomorrow, then on Sunday, from Bhakti Sandarbha about the process of envy and becoming free from envy. Now, what does Bhakti Sandarbha say about that? Now, I'll give you a little heads up, because part of the discussion tomorrow on Bhakti Sandarbha is going to include this. There's a nice verse, amongst many nice verses, that Jiva Goswami quotes twice in Bhakti Sandarbha, and it's a teaching of Prahlad to his classmates, Canto 7, Chapter 7, and to his classmates he's explaining that the process of bhakti has, without any additional effort or means of purification or quality or anything, just bhakti alone has the capacity to overcome the 6 faults. And envy is one of those 6. Then there's a qualitative way in which bhakti needs to be carried out so that it can free one from all faults or material contamination. But bhakti has that power in and of itself, rather than relying upon other things and other things. Now, if one takes up other things and other things which go on in our devotee communities, that sometimes some assisting modalities are helpful. But ultimately, those assisting modalities are helpful, resting upon bhakti. And without bhakti, that's how he concludes. It's simply useless. Shama eva hi kevalam. That's not his phrase, but that's the Bhagavatam phrase. Waste of time, waste of energy, ineffective. So something to be effective, God has to be connected with bhakti. And bhakti standing alone, if one has that capacity to be Shuddha Bhakta, at least cultivate according to the line of Shuddha Bhakti, then it has the power to take away everything of material contamination. But we'll hear some more from Bhakti Sandarbha on the topic of, because the problem with Kaliya was his subtle, the gross covering comes. The gross covering is awarded according to the subtle covering. That's like the explanation of the process of creation. These entities and the modes of nature that move those swabhavas produce forms of life. And the forms of life are coverings, grosser coverings of the subtler coverings. So how to remove the subtler coverings? In bhakti. The process of yoga and ultimately bhakti, of the best of all the processes of yoga. But I wanted to stay close to the text, because you can see it takes a lot of time to go through the text alone, what to speak of other things and other literatures that speak on the same point. It's maybe another time around I'll not just have 5, 6 parts, but we'll have like 10 parts. To go more deeply into each, instead of the 30,000 feet, maybe 10,000 feet. Look more closely at what we're flying over. Okay. So any comments or questions? Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I have two questions. You said when you're in trouble, take shelter of Sanatana Goswami.
He's so merciful, yeah. But he's not the only one. But he's a good one for sure.
So can you give us some practical application points how to take shelter?
Yeah, sure. You know, I'll refer to Raghunath Das Goswami, Manashiksha. You know the Manashiksha, the first verse of Manashiksha. Oh, my dear mind, if you would all desire the eternal association and service of Radha Krishna in the spiritual world, then hitva dambam, give up pride. And then there's the whole, how do you give up pride? And take shelter of the you know, he names three personalities: Rupa, Sanatan, and Srup Damodar. Now that's Raghunath Das. So how to take shelter of those persons? That's the question. How do you take shelter of anyone? You hear about them. You understand what their teachings are. You try to bring those teachings. You hear them again and hear them again and hear them again, and just like this repeating over and over again. There's several times. These 2 nights prayers of Rupa Goswami in relation to the Kaliya serpent. Haribol. And just hear again and hear again. So it starts to go in. Hear about his life, understand his position, how Rupa Goswami looked to him, how he engaged with Rupa, how he engaged with the, etc., etc., how he lived his life, his writings, you know, and immerse yourself in the personality through sound, and you can associate with the person that way. And find persons that have that affinity for that person and associate with those persons.
Yeah, thank you, Maharaj. The second question I have is Kaliya's prayer felt like this. Like sometime I also pray like that. Like I cannot do anything, Krishna. You know, whatever you just do. You know, I have no strength. But I also feel
you
like
you mumbled the last part. You say, Krishna, you can do with me what you like, and then you mumbled.
not what you like like I cannot do anything, you do it, you know, like.
Yes, sir. And
Like that.
we serve, and through the medium of service, Krishna may do what Krishna wants to do through the medium of service.
I feel like there is very passive, like no accountability on my part.
Yeah, that's not, you know, change that dial. Get another setting. The service setting. Now, then takes, what does Krishna want? Yeah, that's a nice question. And you may not have the answer, but you keep asking the question. And you go to Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami and Srup Damodar, they'll have the answer. You just familiarize yourself with what they say, and then you'll know what Krishna wants. And then you align yourself with what Krishna wants, and please, may I become your instrument to do what you want. Make me dance, make me dance, make me dance as you like. Okay.
Hare Krishna. So we'll pause here. This is a short class, but Maharaj was like telling about what Kalia was asking. Kalia was praying to Krishna similar to what Nagapatnis were telling, and he finally surrendered to Krishna, saying like, you can do whatever you want, even punish him, and then this Leela ended. Maharaj class ended abruptly, it looks like, but that's what it is. And then Maharaj was speaking about some other next class about Bhakti Sandarbha. He's saying about removing gross coverings. We have to remove the subtle coverings, or like subtle gross coverings are result of whatever subtle things that we carry. So removing those, how do we do that? And Maharaj mentioned about like bhakti is the way, and that he's going to discuss more on that Bhakti Sandarbha. And it was a nice question from this devotee here, asking about how we take shelter of Sanatan Goswami, and Maharaj saying aptly about like listening to their instructions and trying to follow is the key of, is the way of taking shelter of those great personalities. And about service, yeah, another thing, the devotee was asking about why, like he depends on Krishna. He says like, okay, this I do whatever you like, and then he says that in that spirit he is like trying to skip or like his accountability or something like that. And Maharaj said like, no, you should not be in that mood, and you have to be shifting to service mode. So that way we will be properly surrendering to Krishna's will. So that's what I understood. So now I would like to open the forum for discussion. If anybody wants to add or comment, please do so. Oh, nobody raising hands, so probably I will ask. Harisham Prabhu, you have anything to add, Prabhu?
No, bro, nothing.
Okay, Prabhu. Chinnakesha Prabhu, you want to say something?
Yes, bro. As usual, this lecture and prayers of Kalia is very nice. Hearing from Maharaj. And in the last part, one devotee was asking that questions when he was fearing of material things, and other question, if he cannot do anything, let just pray Krishna whatever he wants to do with us. So let him do. I don't have any strength. That part I love it. Thank you. Correction.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah, Prabhu.
I like to share one thing that so as Kaliya surrendered to the Lord, so as by birth we are envious, so you have to give the mercy to remove that all the contaminations and all. So basically, even not Kaliya, I'm thinking we are also, means we are also, in the sense I maybe I am. So we are also envious So without mercy of the Lord, we cannot get rid of all these contaminations like envious, all the 6 qualities, Padmasari and all. So I like that part also. We need to take the mercy of the Lord means by serving Him. So I understood that. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I have one question, Prabhu. These 6 qualities is Kama, Krodha, Moha, Lobha, Mada, Macharya, Prabhu, or something else?
Oh, yes, Prabhu.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you.
Yeah, Prabhu. Yugal Kishore, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, I was just seeing that this is a wonderful example of a transformation of a person who is very envious, ignorant, and he says that I'm constantly angry. And this is the miraculous examples, mysterious example where Bhagavatam demonstrate that with the touch of Krishna and the mercy and the prayers by Nagapatnis, I mean the Vaishnavas, even the envious or angry person can actually finally surrender to Lord Sri Krishna. And that is what Bhagavatam offers us, that our shelter is Krishna. And how it will happen? Guru Krishna, Brahmanda Brahmite Kon Bhagyavana Jiv, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. So here is wonderful pastimes which actually demonstrate this principle that by mercy of Guru and Krishna, one can actually come to that, and finally he surrenders. It is person who is so envious, he cannot, but he finally did that. And Maharaj was mentioning that though he repeated the same prayers, so for us also, if we do not have our own prayers, we can definitely offer the same prayers which have been offered by standard prayers or great personalities, Vaishnavas in the past. And Maharaj, he said that we had 5 or 6 parts, but still not satisfied. He wanted to go more deeper and deeper. And of course, for his relishing this Bhagavatam, and also to give to all of us, saying that he, if time permits, he can go much more deeper and deeper and more parts, maybe up to 10 parts of these pastimes. And Maharaj, as usual, is very particular. There was grammatical mistake in this R and can, and Maharaj said that, and there was a spelling mistake also. So he's so particular about that. He wanted to do very perfect, and that's the nature of Maharaj. Very punctual, very particular about what he want to give to the devotees. These are 3-4 points. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Okay. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Kumarika Mataji, you wanted to add something?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
What the devotee asked, Maharaj answered. But that answer can be understood like this. How do we take shelter of Maharaj? And how do we get his mercy? Because it is easier to get his mercy than somebody like Sanatana Goswami, whom we do not know at all. Maharaj will never say that you should do all this to your spiritual master, that is me. But I understood that we have to absorb ourselves in his lectures and carry out the instructions that we learn. So once Sarisham Prabhu had recently shared, one Chinese devotee had written in her Vyas Puja offering that whatever you answer to my question, I meditate upon it. I take it as personal instructions and I try to implement it. So that sort of devotion and meditating and carrying out the instructions which is given may not be personally given to us, but then even in the lectures, that is the way to really take shelter of somebody. That is what I understood, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mataji. I have the same feeling like what you have said. Like it is an opportunity again to like proper way of taking shelter of our Guru Maharaj by meditating on his instructions and his classes and things like that. Thank you, Mataji. Anybody else want to add? Rajeshwari Pran Mataji.
Hare Krishna, bro. I really liked the answer which Guru Maharaj was talking today. So when the devotee asked, "Oh Lord, do whatever you want. I'm not capable, and I'm not. I don't have strength enough to perform any devotional service." It sounds like a passive space that no. We are not accountable of our services, or we are not taking responsibility of what pleases to Krishna and Guru. So Maharaj immediately corrected, saying, don't enter into that space. Rather, get into the service mode. That know what pleases Guru and Krishna. Try acting upon it instead of passive prayer. Get into the active space where you can do some service to Guru and Krishna. So that's very nice because sometimes the mind enter into the space that no, okay, I have done from my side. Like we don't want to go forward into it. We will say, oh Krishna, do whatever you want without taking any action into the space. So Maharaj immediately has saying that no, in that space the service attitude, service mode, accountability all will be missing. So we should be careful while praying also that no, how we are praying. That was very nice. I liked it. That's it.
Thank you, Mataji, for nicely explaining and elaborating on this point, which I also like, Mataji. Anything else from any of devotees? It's 7:4, 7:05. We can still push to 5 more minutes if there is anything.
Hare Krishna Ji, Dandavat to all devotees.
Hare Krishna.
So, similar to all the points which other devotees very nicely mentioned, which was given by Maharaj. So one is, start with the question and answer part, which the devotee asked, the practical aspect of taking shelter. So Maharaj immediately went to references Raghunath Das Goswami's Manu Shiksha, and he mentioned how Raghunath Das Goswami is taking shelter of Srila Rup, Srila Sanatan, and Swarup Damodar Prabhu. So so we as such directly can't go there. So for us, the practical points is to take shelter of Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada. And Maharaj used specific term. He gave us very good instructions of hear about what their teachings are, go deeper, hear about what their life is, their position, how they have been engaging in their devotional service, how they have lived their lives, and then immerse yourself in the sound of that person. So that point was very important. And also another important thing which Maharaj mentioned was associate with persons who have an affinity for that person. So for us, all our Shamkun Prabhu and all other senior Vaishnavas, the takeaway for me is to try and associate more with them, so that these are the devotees who have a great affinity for Maharaj. So that's one takeaway point. And the next question about of the same devotee about taking shelter, about the service setting, Maharaj nicely gave an example of changing the dial, change the setting. So how do we know what does Krishna want? We might not get the answer immediately, but then don't stop asking the question. Go deeper and deeper. For us, go deeper and deeper into the same thing, the answer to the first question of what Maharaj does, about his life, his teachings, etc. And we don't stop, we go again and again. another thing, now back to the lecture. Maharaj nicely mentioned that bhakti alone is the one which can free one from all the faults, including those 6 faults. Here specifically taking the cue from Kalia's pride. And the other thing is, Kalia nicely mentioned that I cannot get rid of this nature by myself. So please help me. So this is one prayer aspect which I'm deeply inspired, which I hope to try, the shelter aspect of Krishna and devotees and Guru. So this is one takeaway point. And another last thing is, this particular aspect of the Nagapatnis, the wives of Kalia. So some similar discussions which various devotees gave wonderful examples and answers to Shweta Mataji's question. So I just tried 1 or 2 points in the same line of why the Nagapatnis are praying for Kalias to get so that he continues, so that he now that he is almost purified, so let him continue as a practicing devotee. So this we can see a parallel in Nityananda Prabhu requesting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to not kill Jagai Madai. So similarly, the Nagapatnis are requesting the Lord not to kill Kali as such, because the Lord, it was mentioned in yesterday's lecture that few more stamps and he would have died. But the wives are, Nagapatnis are requesting the Lord not to do that. Please give him a chance, forgive him, so that he can become a Vaishnava. So this parallel I saw with Nityananda Prabhu requesting the Lord not to kill Jagai Matai, whereas anyways the tendencies have all gone. Now that he's purified, let him do bhakti. So that similar parallel I was able to find, and I've seen this, Prabhu. So that the devotees don't try to change the circumstances. Whatever is I'm talking about the exalted devotees. They don't try to change the circumstances. Whatever are the circumstances, they want to continue their bhakti with the association of devotees. So that's what the Nagapatni's prayers were also. And another point was, they sort of got an opportunity. So far, they have been living with Kalia, and somehow or the other, the opportunity was there. But now, when they got the opportunity that Krishna was there, right there, perfectly purified Kalia, this is when they stepped up and requested Krishna not to kill him. And now that he's become a Vaishnava, let him practice, let him become a purer devotee. So that's another point to the question, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Nicely summarized yesterday's and today's as well. And good takeaway points that we should all carry from these lectures. Okay, so if anybody doesn't have anything, then we will conclude today's session and continue tomorrow. Thank you, everybody. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.